Obviously, I would have been happy for him to stay up here all day and continue to exhaust all of your questions. But one, I figure I probably should answer a couple today, and also the president has an event here shortly, so I want to try to work through as many as I can. And with that, I'm actually going to start with Jeff Mason, since I believe it is maybe your last day and my first. So with that, Jeff, take it away.
Can you talk just a little bit about how this change will affect the press office, and can you speak a little bit for Sean about how he's feeling and how he took this news and how he made the decision to resign?
I'm not going to speak for Sean in detail. I can say that he understood that the president wanted to bring in and add new people to the team, and Sean felt like it would be best for that team to be able to start with a totally clean slate. And I think I want to echo what Anthony says. I think it speaks volumes to who he is to be willing to do that and allow Anthony to come in with a brand new starting place. And I think he's served the president loyally and admirably. He's going to continue to stay on for the next several weeks through the transition, and I'm sure he'll be happy to answer some of those questions directly.
Hey, sir. First of all, congratulations on the job. Can you clarify where the president stands on the issue of pardons? Is he considering pardons for figures in the Russia investigation, and does the president believe that he has the power to pardon himself?
Look, I'd refer you to the comments that have already been made by the outside counsel in terms of their actions. The president maintains pardon powers like any president would, but there are no announcements or planned announcements on that front whatsoever.
Does that mean the power to pardon himself? Does he believe that he has the power to pardon himself?
Like I said, I don't have anything to add beyond what the outside counsel has already stated on that front.
In the president's interview with the New York Times, he raised questions about Robert Mueller. Does he endorse his legal team's efforts to undermine Robert Mueller's credibility?
Again, the president has absolutely nothing to do with any of the allegations that are being made. I think he's maintained that, and he wants them to complete their process as quickly as possible so that we can move on from the ridiculousness of all things Russia and Russia fever.
But to the question that I asked, does he endorse his legal team's efforts to undermine the credibility of the special counsel?
I'm not aware of those details, and that's something you would have to ask. That's something you would have to ask his legal team. I'm not part of that process, so I wouldn't be able to answer that.
On health care, what does the president want the Senate to vote on next week?
I think he wants to, as Mark Short stated earlier this week, and as we've repeated many times before, the president's preference is to repeal and replace Obamacare. And we haven't been shy or quiet about that, and those intentions have certainly not changed. John?
How much arm twisting is going on vis-a-vis the health care bill? The Vice President had a lot of conservative groups over today. Those conservative groups announced that they will actually be scoring votes next week on the motion to proceed, which I believe is unprecedented.
I don't think anyone here has made a secret that this is a big priority and that Congress should do what they've been talking about for the last 7 years. It's time for them to get in there and repeal and replace Obamacare, and these groups recognize that. Their constituency that support the groups that they have certainly recognize that, and they're supporting the mission of their organizations and pushing and putting pressure on members to get the job done. Nothing beyond that.
Something too, but just about the organizational structure now that Anthony's come in. The press secretary and the comms secretary used to be pretty much co-equal, reporting to the chief of staff. Will it remain that way? Because there was some move toward making the communications director sort of a deputy chief of staff, and then the press secretary and the comms director would report to that person. So do you still report to Reince, or do you report to Anthony?
I think that Anthony said it better than I can in this capacity, as we plan to work together as a team, and certainly our goal is to work together to promote the president's agenda, and to do that not just with the two of us, but the entire press comms office, as well as the entire White House staff.
But again, do you report to him, or do you report to Reince?
We all serve with the pleasure of the president. Callie?
Questions for you. Number one, when you talk about, there were some comments made by a senior administration official this morning on television talking about the motivations of people who are part of Bob Mueller's special counsel investigation. Do donations to a political party, if it's not the president's party, Does the president believe that disqualifies those people from being part of this special counsel?
I don't know that we're putting out a litmus test, but again, questions regarding that, I would direct you to the outside counsel that's running that part of the process.
Question about National Security Advisor McMaster. Does the president have confidence in his National Security Advisor?
I have no reason to believe otherwise.
Sarah.
Sure. Alex.
The president clearly doesn't want special counsel, he said he doesn't want special counsel Robert Mueller to look into his finances, but the intelligence committee is already looking into financial data from the Treasury Department. Is there anything the White House can do to stop that?
Look, again, the president's point is that he doesn't want the special counsel to move beyond the scope and outside of its mission, and the president's been very clear, as have his accountants and team, that he has no financial dealings with Russia, and so I think we've been extremely clear on that. Blake.
Sarah, last time when it became apparent in the House, the first go-around on the health care bill there, that it was going to fail, it was pulled at the last minute within the last hour or two. When you look at both the repeal and replace potential and the repeal-only potential, the numbers suggest that they don't have the votes and it's set up to fail. Why does the White House believe this time around that a vote should proceed?
Again, we're continuing to be focused on repealing and replacing Obamacare, and we're not going to stop until we can continue to move that forward and get that done. Not only have we wanted to commit to that, but frankly, a lot of the members of the Senate and the House have not only committed but campaigned on that, and it's time for them to step up and get that done.
The president believes that a vote should take place at some point next week on some sort of a bill, one way or another.
I don't think you can repeal and replace Obamacare without a vote, so I think it would be a pretty necessary part of the process. John?
Thank you, Sarah. I just want to get something straight. Earlier in the week, you indicated the White House was not opposed to outright repeal. And then based on your remarks today and Mark Short's 2 days ago, you seem to favor repeal and replace. Does that mean you are against the outright repeal bill that Congressman Biggs has introduced tonight?
Not against, but again, as Mark said earlier this week, our preference is to repeal and replace. Trey?
Thanks, Sarah. 2 questions for you. Can you take us through the process of how the president decided to hire this new communications director, Anthony Scaramucci? And moving forward, what will his role be in terms of objectives that the president wants him to meet?
As Anthony said, he's known the president a long time. He's been a loyal supporter of the president. And Anthony's somebody who has come from nothing and built an incredible, I think several incredible companies. And he's one of the most successful, smart people that the president could put on his team, and the president recognized that and wanted him to be a part of this process. I think very early on he was a very strong advocate throughout the transition, and this has just been part of the process to bring him inside the White House.
A quick follow-up on Rob Mueller. Does President Trump have confidence that Robert Mueller will conduct a fair investigation?
You know, at this point, I don't have any reason to see otherwise, but I have not had a chance to ask the president, and I'd want to get clarity on that before I comment. Zeke?
Thanks, Sarah. I just starting January 20th, this administration has cycled through, has seen departures of the deputy chief of staff, the national security advisor, the communications director, press secretary, several other roles inside this building and across the street. What does that say about sort of the efforts to staff up this administration at the start? What has the president learned about his team, about himself as president? And can you explain sort of that very high turnover rate that we've seen over the last 6 months?
You would have to ask the president what he's learned in that process. And I can tell you, though, I think what we've all learned in that process is that working together and working to accomplish the things that the American people elected the president to do is our focus. It's what we come here every day to do. We're a lot less focused on the who, but the what, and we're going to continue doing that every single day. Jim?
Do you not see that as a chaotic turnover?
No, I don't see it as chaotic. Jim?
Sarah, is the White House concerned?
If you want to see chaos, Zeke, you should come to my house early in the morning when my 3 kids are running around. That's chaos. This is nothing.
The White House concerned news this week concerning the Attorney General and the resignation of Mr. Spicer could have the effect of alienating or demoralizing Trump loyalists. both in and out of the administration?
I think that Trump loyalists, particularly within the administration, but certainly across the country, are energized by the accomplishments of the president in the first 6 months. Stock market's at a high, jobs are growing, regulations are coming off, the country's becoming more secure, the border's becoming more secure, immigration is down. I think we have a lot of things to celebrate, a lot of things to be excited about, and I think our morale is pretty high. Take one last, Steve.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Promotion. I was wondering if you approach this new role with excitement, with trepidation, apprehension, and if you could reflect on these last 6 months in one day on what you've learned about how it is to speak for the president. Is it a tough job? Have you found it easy?
I think it's probably certainly professionally, one of the greatest honors that any person could ever have, to work in any capacity within this building, and to get to do that up here in such a public way and speak on behalf of the president is absolutely an honor and something I will cherish and hope to do my very, very best every single day and be as open, honest, and transparent with you all as humanly possible, and will always work to operate at the highest level and certainly with the most amount of integrity as you can. And with that, I think that's a great place to end today, and the president will be having an event here shortly. Thanks so much, guys.